are live. What's good, Josh? Your man DL Saint. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I really want to know podcast. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. About halfway through the week, guys. Um, yeah, man, we definitely got some stuff to talk about. So all week long, we've kind of been talking about dating from the female lens, so to speak. We've been talking about the struggles some of the ladies out there are having. Yesterday we were talking about women who are in their 50s dating. Before that we were talking about boss babe, successful women who are single. So, and I forget the other one we were talking about, but all week long we kind of been talking about the female side of this. So we're going to continue that today. We're just going to continue with that probably until tomorrow. Um, um, Looking at my, here we go. So, yeah, guys, you guys know that my issues with the stream and all that, but right now it's definitely a bit of a bar here. So, hopefully that'll switch up. My daughter might be online right now. Um, so, yeah, let's see. There we go. It's slowly starting to come back. So can't connect X. And so I'm just kind of trying to ride this out, guys. Just trying to ride this out. Yeah, I may not be able to do this stream. Drop it down to 720. Um, I might have to drop the quality down. Yeah, I dropped the quality down a little bit. Maybe it just couldn't handle that 1080p. So okay, we're off to a rough start, but it looks like I got a little bit. Yeah, man, this is. I mean, this kind of sucks. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna have to reboot this thing before we actually get started. So all right, so we're just gonna go with the intro and see what happens, and we'll figure this out as we go. We're just gonna go with the intro. So let's just do that. Here's the intro, and we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. So yeah, I'm listening to I'm listening to my feedback on my monitor. Just kind of we're just trying to deal with this. We're just dealing with this slowdown, man. Like, but this is what Brother Viking was talking about. Definitely gonna have to work this out, but I'm gonna go with a lower quality. Just gonna go with a. I'm not gonna stream in 1080p. Just go with a lower quality. and maybe that will help. But brother Dino Dinosaur, I appreciate you, bro, rocking in there, hanging in there, and giving me that feedback that I needed. So definitely shout out to you, bro. And as far as the debate, man, I did not watch the debate last night in its entirety. Um, I didn't plan on watching it at all. My homeboy Jay Swans, he's really heavy into this stuff, man. He was watching it, and he's like, "Are you watching the debate?" I'm like, "No, why would I watch this, bro? It's not. There's nothing that I'm gonna get out of that debate." Right? You guys know how I feel about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Two horrible choices. It is what it is. You just got to make your choice, and based on what you're gonna base it on, there's nothing that either one of those two candidates could have said in the debate that was going to get me to change my mind. But he just stayed on me like, "Oh man, you got to see this." Oh man, he's like, I'm like, all right. So I turned it on for a second, and then I turned it off again. I was texting him back like, "I can't believe you got me trying to watch this," and I turned it on one more time. So I mean, I may have watched 10, maybe 15 minutes of it live, not continuous. It was like maybe 5 minutes here, 8 minutes there, a few minutes there. You know what I mean? But I have watched the highlights. And I have watched the talking heads in all of the reviews of the debate. And so I will tell you this: Donald Trump definitely lost. If you're looking at the debate as like maybe like a sporting event, like a game, um, Donald Trump went into that game as the favorite to win. He went in, you know, favorite to win. It was like, yeah, it was his debate to lose. And I'm a big football fan here in America. And I'm from Cincinnati, so I'm a big fan of the Cincinnati Bengals, the University of Cincinnati Bearcats, and I also like the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. I've always liked Notre Dame, and I understand when your team goes in to a game highly favored and they blow chunks. Like Donald Trump did a horrible job, and it's just like the Bearcats, just like the Fighting Irish, just like the Bengals last weekend. They went in and did a horrible job. Horrible. Right? Point blank, period. And they lost. And Donald Trump lost. Kamala Harris was able to get under his skin. She had a game plan that worked perfectly. She did everything that they set out to do, that she trained to do, that she practiced to do. She executed flawlessly. Donald Trump couldn't help himself. He fell in, he fell to her, you know, baiting him. He fell for every trap that she laid out there. He looked like a complete idiot. Like she showed what this dude looks like. And with all this, now you have all this content that, you're going to see all this in campaign ads. Neither one of them talked about their vision for the country, especially Trump. Trump was just out there doing the Trump stuff. He looked like a very bitter, scared old dude. He was definitely afraid of Kamala Harris, didn't want to shake her hand. She set the stage. She came out there and cornered him to make sure that he shook her hand. And then she told him how to pronounce her name. My name is Kamala. And you notice Donald Trump didn't say her name not once. He didn't say Kamala not one time. Right. So she absolutely did what she set out to do. Now, as far as debate goes, as far as if you were in there looking for policy, if you're one of the 7 to 12% of Americans who don't know where they stand, right here, I don't know how that's the case, but if you're one of those people who don't know where you stand and you wanted this debate so you could learn more about policy, well, that didn't happen last night. If you were watching that debate to see who Kamala Harris is and what type of person she is, she was able to convey that. She came off as strong. She came off as presidential. She came off as the grown up in the room. But as far as her policy, as far as her, handling, taking responsibility for Joe Biden's policy, as far as separating herself from the Joe Biden administration, she didn't do any of that. But what she did do was make Donald Trump look like a complete idiot. Right. And then it could be enough to get folks to say, well, I don't know about this guy. If Kamala Harris can do this to him, what is Putin doing to this guy? What is Xi Jinping doing to this guy? What are all these other people doing to this dude? You can see how easy it is to manipulate this guy to either push him to bad Trump or push him to good Trump. And if people who are paying close attention, if that's what they're looking for, that's what they got to see. Having said all that, yeah, she won the election. Even the Republican conservative talking heads are saying that. They got their talking points. They want to blame the moderators or whatever. Blame whoever you want to blame. It's like, oh, Trump, it was 3-on-1. Those 3 people were against Trump. Yeah, they sure were. Yeah, that's what they do. Trump had to know that. It is what it is. He lost. They're trying to spin it as best they can. But when the camera goes off and you just talk to, even the talking heads, the MAGA people, the Trumpers, even they'll concede, like, yeah, he looked horrible. He did a really bad job. Obviously, he didn't prepare. And if he did prepare, they did a horrible job getting him ready. He had no game plan. So, yeah, she won a debate. Now, does that mean she's going to win the election? Absolutely not. Still an incredibly close race. Still too close to call, right? So keep that in mind, guys. This race is too close to call, incredibly close. So what's going to happen in November? Don't know. Will there be a second election if Kamala Harris is smart, if her team is smart? I mean, not election. There's going to be a second debate. Sorry about that. Will there be a second debate? If Team Harris is smart, they wouldn't do it. Why take that chance? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do a debate. If you're Team Trump, you want another debate. You want a debate, and then you can, Trump will sit down with his team and actually get prepped and try to do what he needs to do because he did such a horrible job. Just think about the Trump-Biden debate and how poorly a job Joe Biden did. He did such a bad job that no one was paying attention to how bad Donald Trump did in that debate. Same thing happened last night. Trump did such a horrible job that no one's paying attention to Kamala Harris's missteps, and she had a bunch, right? No one's paying attention to the fact that she really doesn't have any plans other than the one that she tried to float out there for small businesses, first-time home buyers, and people who are having their first baby. The small business initiative, $50,000 tax credit, that sounds amazing. How do you get it? How are you going to pay for it? Which is more important? Definitely that would be deficit spending. And then $25,000, I think it was $20,000 or $25,000 for a first-time home buyer. Okay, how does that work? And then the $6,000 for children, for families who are having a baby. Is it just the first baby, or is that for every baby you have? Great ideas. When she said that, I would have loved to hear more about that, but they went off to start talking about whatever they was talking about, migrants eating pets, or, talking about what they were talking about with the leaching of babies. And I mean, boy, Trump took it down some very, very, very crazy rabbit holes. So you really couldn't get to hear anything. We don't know anything about a border plan. We don't know anything about, how we're going to handle the existing undocumented people in this country. And we didn't talk about how we're going to bring prices down. We didn't talk about how we're going to control inflation. And look what the markets did in America the day after the debate. The CPI numbers came out, and it looked like the markets were tanking at one point. The Dow was down over 600 points. I don't know where it closed. I don't know where it is right now. But, some people would try to tie that to Donald Trump's performance. Like, Donald Trump did so bad that even the markets are like, we don't know about this guy. So yeah, that's it. I mean, as far as this election goes, man, still too close to call. Kamala Harris did win that debate. They're only really playing to, like I said, between 7 and 12% of Americans, and those Americans are, in 3 states. Those, 7 battleground states, but I think the only 3 count, and that's Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Those are the only 3 that counts. If the Democrats could win those 3 states, they'll keep the White House. So, yeah, that's where we were last night. How many people in those battleground states that I just named, the blue wall, were swayed enough to move to Kamala Harris's side? If it were 3%, 3.5%, that should be enough for her to win the election. If it was like 1.5%, right? Like 1%, 1.5%, that wouldn't be enough to get her over the edge, and she probably wouldn't be able to hold on to the blue wall. These are all just my takes on it, just my opinion. So, like, it is what it is. Brother AJ's in the building. What's good? What's good? So yeah, it was, that was the event. People got to see it. Like I said, I didn't want to watch that thing live. I barely watched it. I only did it because my homeboy was like, man, you got to watch this. And I told him, like, bro, you owe me a bottle for making me watch this garbage. They're like, oh, I got you. Don't worry about it. So at least I got me a bottle out of it. What did you get out of it out there? We got Avoiding Hornet in the building. What's good, fam? I heard a lot of people saying he won, which is kind of wild to me. Yeah, well, that's just team. People who are team Trump, they're gonna say he won. That my biggest gripe with MAGA and my biggest gripe with the rank and file conservative person is they won't admit when something goes wrong. I love the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm a Bengals fan. There was no reason for us to lose at home against the New England Patriots in the opening game. That was just dumb. And I can list 35 things as to, what went wrong and why. I'm not a huge fan of our coach. I mean, I'm like, that's just glaring. They made some moves in the off season. So, we lost a very powerful running back and Mixon. Like Nick, he's gone. We got Chase, but this was like his first time really running with the team. So it's like a whole bunch of things we could get into. And I could say, yeah, these are all problems. The MAGA people won't do that. I mean, you got like the high IQ MAGA people will say, yeah, he blew it, he messed up, but then they'll pivot to talking points. But the rank and file MAGA person is just like, no, he won, we won. I'm like, man, no, that's just delusional. And that, talking about migrants eating cats and dogs, talking about what they were talking about with deleting babies after 9 months and all that. I mean, Trump sounded horrible. So that's the thing with those people who are Team Trump. They're going to, no matter what, they're going to say, yeah, because they're in their bubble, man. And this is what they want to hear. But it didn't make sense to play to the base. It didn't make sense for Kamala Harris to play to her base. It didn't make sense for Donald Trump to play to his base. They are out there trying to capture that 7 to 12% of Americans who are going to decide who the next president is. That's what the mission was. And, I think Kamala helped herself to that point. But you're right, man. There's people out there saying he won. Like, bro, nah. Piers Morgan had a bunch of, conservative talking heads on there, dudes from the Daily Wire, and then they had some like real extreme left guys, like dudes from the Young Turks and some of this other California guy that has a podcast, Brian Taylor something, extreme left. So, watch that Piers Morgan episode when he had, he had extreme right guys on there and extreme left guys on there, and they were talking about last night's performance. Even the extreme right people were like, yeah, Trump screwed that up. So, and like this is a football game. Like after the end, it was a sporting event. Kamala Harris went in as the underdog, and she pulled off the victory, just like Pitt did against the Cincinnati Bearcats, just like New England did against the Cincinnati Bengals, and just like NIU, Northern Illinois University, came in as underdogs to Notre Dame's home opener and beat them. Right. So, yeah, at the end of that, when that was all over, at the end of that, debate, all the Democrats, all the liberals were just arm in arm in the end zone, rocking back and forth, probably singing the battle hymn of the Republic, which is like their alma mater. And they were loving it. They took a victory lap, but it doesn't mean anything. All it means is the race is going to remain close. Okay, maybe Kamala got a couple points her way, but it's still too close to call. We're going to go into this election in November, and it's going to be, we got to wait and see. They're well within the margin of error, and that's what's going to happen here. It is what it is. Brother Penny in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you. So, yeah, that's about 20 minutes of me talking about the election, talking about the debate. I will be clipping some of that, guys, and putting it on YouTube Shorts. But I still think it's two very horrible choices. It's going to be a tough 4 years for America, no matter who gets into the White House. I mean, it is what it is. But people, y'all need to get out there and vote. Get out there and vote for whoever you're going to vote for. Team Trump, Team Harris, whatever, whoever you're going to vote for. If you're going to write a name in, that's fine. But get out there and vote. And don't forget, go in there. You got to vote down the ticket as well. So get out there and vote. And your most important vote is for your local elections, guys. Remember that. That's the most important. What's going on in D.C. doesn't affect you as much as what's going on in your city hall and what's going on in your state legislature. All right. So don't forget that, guys. Get out there and vote. It's not just about Harris or Trump. It's the most important stuff for you as an American. If it's those local elections, man, who's on the school board, who's the mayor, who's the sheriff, that's what's going to affect you as an American more than what's going on in D.C. Ocean View Coffee Shop was good. Trump acted like he was in human resources, bro. Yeah, Trump was afraid last night, man. I think he was really afraid of Kamala Harris. He was intimidated. There was nothing he can do to stop the onslaught. He couldn't help himself. He just kept messing up, guys. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was definitely like in human resources explaining himself. Facts, bro. Facts. Oh shit. Definitely R.I.P. to James Earl Jones, man, the voice of Darth Vader, man. Plus one of America's best actors ever created. Uh, he did pass a couple days ago. So yeah, man, that's it. Those are my thoughts on what's going on with the debate. Um, I I don't know if there's going to be a second debate, and if there is, I'm not going to watch that one either. I'll just watch that in clips or whatever. I can kind of go back and fast forward through all of the dumb stuff. Wouldn't it be nice if they talked about policy? Donald Trump is incapable of talking about policy. He's just not built that way. And Kamala Harris, her policies aren't that popular with the right. So it's going to be hard for her to come up with policies. And whatever she comes up with, she's going to have to figure out a way to pay for. And if the Dems don't run the House, you're going to have to get Republicans to sign off on it. And that's going to be tough. But it would be nice to hear policy as opposed to what we heard last night. So, but yeah, man, appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? For especially brother Dino Dinosaur, I'm like Dino's gonna be there. Number one, he's gonna want to talk about this debate. And I appreciate you, bro, because I was ready. I'm like, let me get ready. And I was watching clips right up until it was time for the showtime here. But we definitely want to talk about what we came here to talk about, bro. And we want to talk about Kait Ann-Michelle, or is that Kait Ann-Michelle or Michelle? On how to date men. Like, she is a psychology student. She has a YouTube channel, has about 8,000 or so subscribers. So I believe she's fairly new to the game, but she gives some pretty good insight. I'm not, and keep it 100. She is on point with some of her things, and some of the things are not so much on point. So I saw this video here and I'm like, oh, he's talking about how men date. So I only watched maybe 3 minutes of this. It's about a 18-minute video. So we're just gonna power through this, bro, and listen to what she has to say. And the reason we're doing this, gentlemen, like, yo, Uncle Saint, why are you showing all this stuff with females? Y'all need to understand how females are thinking, perhaps how some of them are programmed, so you can adjust your game accordingly. Like, this is what they're thinking. So if you know that this is how they're going to hit you with their game, this is how they're going to attack this dating thing, you know how to counter it, right? And a lot of this is just good information to know, because these things might come up, and you're definitely going to want to know how to answer in order for you to achieve your goals, whatever those goals may be. Like, if you're sitting here and you're down for like you just trying to smash, or you in here trying to have a long-term relationship, whatever the case may be, you need as much information as you can get on the opposite sex to help you achieve your goals. So yeah, man, let's check this out. She's a very attractive young lady, as you can see from the thumbnail. And like I said, I think she's new to the game. I will start by saying this. I don't know her personally or anything like that. All I know is from a couple videos that I've seen, like maybe 40 minutes of her content. But I will say this: be very, very leery of women who are in the psych world, especially students. A lot of the women that I've talked to that I personally know, they're in that field. I always ask them, like, so why did you decide to do that? And it takes a while, but if they really know you, and when they open up to you, they'll tell you, like, well, I had some issues and I just kind of wanted to understand why I was the way I was. One girl came out and told me, she was like, yeah, man, I'm kind of crazy and I wanted to know why. He said, maybe I can fix myself. So a lot of women will get into that field, in college especially. They're trying to fix themselves. Or they're trying to get answers to why they are the way they are. So be very, very careful when you're dealing with someone who's a psych major. All right. And be very careful of those people in the field, even the ones who are like doctors now, psychiatrists, psychologists. They have letters behind their name. They have letters in front of their name, PhDs and doctors and all that. Be careful. Like they're really good at their job. They can sit down and talk to you, but when you get cool with these people, or you find out that their life is a wreck, like just never go hang out with your psychologist or psychiatrist. Don't ever do it. Don't You do not want to get into their life when you see that their life is worse than yours, and then you're like, why am I paying this person $300 an hour to talk to me? You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these ladies, you know what I'm saying? That's why they're in that field. So with all that said, let's get into it.
Men are probably the most misunderstood subject on the planet right now. And if there's one thing I know about women, it's that we suck at receiving painful truths. So if you're not ready to learn the truth about how men actually date, then you can go ahead and click off of this video. But if you choose to stick around, then by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how men date, what turns them off, their short and long-term dating strategies, clues he just wants to smash, and how to know if he's actually serious about your relationship. Starting off with how men actually date. Now, in order to make the math actually math here, we have to acknowledge that 1 plus 1 does not equal 2 in a man's mind. The things that women look for in a partner are not the same things that men look for in a partner. Especially if you desire a man who's got some semblance of success, then listen to this because it's going to be important. The truth is, women have the matrix of men all misaligned with their hedonistic impulses and desires. And after having many of my own dumpster fire experiences in dating and working with dozens of men in the domain of relationships, I've learned a few things that are important to know. Women tend to look.
Okay. Right off rip. I like what I'm hearing. Uncle Saint Likey's. Yo, she's keeping it 100. Male dating strategy, female dating strategy are very, very different. Not even close to being similar. You know, when she was talking about what men want, especially, men who have it together, wealthy men, right? She stressed that. It's, that's what they're looking for, and what they will tolerate is way different than what the average dude will tolerate. The top 20 and bottom 80, definitely a difference in what they tolerate. Um, I like where she's going so far. She told the women right up front, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Like if you aren't ready to receive the truth, then don't even watch this video. But if you do watch this video, you're going to have an opportunity to learn, right? So yeah, it sounds based so far. Brother Mandrell's in the building. What's good? Yeah, Brother Pitney, you're right, man. So far, so good. Let's continue.
Look for men who will provide and protect for them in the long term. This is the essence of the feminine energy. But what you need to understand is, much like a thermometer, there's a certain threshold of this energy that will ebb and flow in both of the sexes. And relative to each person, the temperature gauge on each of these will differ. And I'm sure that you've heard on some level that opposites attract. This is true, but there's also an underlying similarity that amplifies the connection that two people can have. It's just not in an identical way. For example, I'm sure you've heard that men don't want masculine women. And sure, but that's not necessarily always the case. What they're really saying is that men don't want combative women. Your partner in that dynamic will be a mirror into you, which is what drives true intimacy. We will get there in a minute, but here's what women miss. Men, specifically ambitious men, run under pressure. They thrive under a purpose. And these men who thrive under this pressure in whatever arena they're playing their game in crave a few very important things. Number 1 is peace. Number 2, happiness. Number 3, joy.
So far, I'm with it. Right? That part about combative women, yes, I agree. Men are out here trying to conquer the world. He's out here trying to do his thing. He's out here trying to put a dent in the universe. The last thing he wants to do is deal with a woman who is the closest human to him and have to deal with some sort of combative, woman who refuses to bring him peace, happiness, and joy. Right? The happiness and joy part, she can remove. Peace is what those men want. I think when you get into happiness and joy, that's more of what the guys, down in the bottom 80 are looking for. The dudes at the top, right? They have the resources, and they are having the experiences. They're getting plenty of happiness, and they're having plenty of joy. Like for a dude who's got his shit together and he's at the top right there, he's smashing 2 dimes at the same time. That's going to bring a little bit of joy. Right. And that's, and like the happiness involved in that is like, yeah, bro, a man can sit back and like feel that sort of pride. Like that's that conquer. Like he knows that, bro, most people can't even pull this off. Wow. How did I do that? That's kind of like makes him happy, but that's not what drives him. It's the peace. He wants to come home to a peaceful situation. He does not want to come home and deal with a combative woman. Right. And seeing Brother Manjoe is agreeing with me, man. Peace is what all men want. The happiness and joy part, but it's the peace that's really the one thing that men want. So, ladies, if you're watching this, peace is the number one thing that your guy wants. I don't care if he's a top 20 guy. I don't care if he's a bottom 80 guy. He wants peace.
So let's break these down a little bit deeper. When it comes to peace, they want somebody who makes their life easier. Not from the sense of utility, but from the essence of being. Men are driven to do, perform, excel, succeed, and it's not a bad thing. And shaming a man for wanting to pursue this type of passion or potential purpose will not bring you closer to him. It's something that's wired into their brain, unless they've been brainwashed by society or entirely emasculated by their partner. So when they aren't in a game of conquering a goal, they don't want to come home and walk into World War III because he was 15 minutes late. They also need values and convictions. Men who have a lot going on don't enjoy wasting their time, but they will. There are layers of a woman that they're looking for when it comes to long-term dating. But that doesn't mean they won't spend their time stroking their ego or allowing you to do so. In these moments, they understand this is a means to an end. It's really important that as a woman, you understand that you set the standards that men will rise to. This is one of the major issues in the modern dating world. In the
Women set the standards that men will rise to. Let's think about that for a moment. On the one hand, I can see where she's coming from. On the one hand, if women were to stop thirst trapping on Instagram, twerking, dressing like harlots, if women were to become more regal, more noble, not just giving it up to whoever. If women held themselves to a higher standards, then guys would be compelled to up their game to meet that standard. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, I could see that. But just individual dudes raising their standards because they want to be with a certain type of woman, I don't see the top tier guys doing that. The top tier guys are out here conquering the world, changing the universe. I don't think he's going to push himself to go further. Like Elon Musk isn't trying to get to Mars so he can impress some woman. Right? So I see where she's coming from, but I'm not 100% there. I'm just not 100% there. Based Oracles in the building. What's good, fam? Women won't stop twerking until men stop giving it attention. You got a point there. And, here's the thing. Women, they adjust on the fly fast. I've been on proper yachts, like proper, not even parties, just people getting together. I've been like maybe at a mansion party or someone's barbecue, like in upper echelon, like the 1%ers. And I'm here to tell you, like the women there, you'll have one girl who hears some music and then starts twerking, and then she looks around and she sees all of the noble women looking, kind of like, you know what I mean? And then that woman won't twerk again. In fact, that woman be doing everything she can to get out of there, trying to talk to her friends into leaving, like, oh, this party is so lame because she's embarrassed herself already. Come on, girl, how come you ain't dancing like this? And her friends just be like, man, we in Rome. We need to act like a Roman. Quit acting like, the female version of a Pookie and Ray Ray. Quit being ghetto. You're a chicken head right now. Stop it. So women adjust fast, to Base's point. So when women, like men, like until men stop giving them the attention, they won't change. I've seen them change on a dime, bro. I've seen them change on a dime. And he's like, yeah, like kids push boundaries. And a societal weak man allows and encourages it. Facts. And like Base, he's like, yeah. And it's, some people call that shaming. It's not necessarily shaming. It's really being ostracized, because I think the shaming part comes up when someone tells you. I think but I guess it is shaming to an extent, but like a quiet shaming kind of thing, because you got people over there like, bless her heart, but how did she get in here? Who's with her? And then the other people, like, they want to get away from her because, like, yo, she's making us look bad. And these are women. So yeah, yes, Based is right. If that happens in the 1%, it can absolutely happen in the bottom 99. But to Base's point, these dudes who don't hold themselves to a higher standard are just giving them this attention because they don't believe they can go out there and get themselves a quality woman. You know what I mean? Discouraging, peer pressure, yes, yes, and I guess that's all shame. I guess that can all fall under shame to an extent. So yeah, I agree with you there, bro.
Expansion of the internet, vanity, and pornography. Now, another thing that's really important to remember is that men want a woman who has something going on. They don't want codependency or complete vanilla. Now, this doesn't mean that she has to be overly ambitious and constantly conquering in the same way that he does, but more so having a means of some source of creativity and meaning in her
I
life,
do not
something that
agree.
she can completely enjoy on her own. It's also important to note as a female that codependency drives a power dynamic in a relationship. Men do perform, on average, higher in certain domains in a relationship, but
I don't agree. Men are not looking for a woman who has something going on. Honestly, especially at the highest echelons, they're not looking at that. If she were to say like they want men are looking for a woman who has something going on, and that could include just being beautiful, right? Like something going on. Like if she is the perfect homemaker, the perfect mom, that's having something going on, and I think that's what especially the upper echelon guys, the top tier guys, that's what they're looking for. So I don't, she is I just completely disagree with that part she was saying what she want, these guys want a woman who has something going on. When you get down into the lower echelons, when you get down into the bottom 80, maybe the top part of the bottom 80, those guys are like, yes, she's going to have some utility just in case as a fallback. She's going to have something going on. I know I was dating a woman years and years ago, and she was a hustler. Like she was out there promoting, doing stuff, like out there getting it. And I found that attractive. On top of that, she was absolutely stunningly beautiful. And she had a similar background to mine. Like she came from the hood or whatever. But man, she was gorgeous, kept her body together. She was very pretty. But she was a hustler. The fact that she was a hustler intrigued me, not the fact that she was beautiful. So when we got to the point where we, years and years we've known each other, and and I tried to smash or whatever, but she was like, nope, nope, she just wanted to be friends. Fine, right? I would use her like she tried to put me in the friend zone. Okay, fine. You can come with me when I need to get into a club. You got to dress sexy, do this, do this, do this. And it was her, and I would have her with other women. It would be her, and I had like 4 or 5 other women that I knew, and I would like come with me to this event. So even though she's quote unquote put me in her friend zone, nah, you're really in my friend zone, and you're helping me, increase my clout, and you're helping me get into the red carpet event. You're helping me to get into these exclusive parties, and it was mutual. It was a value add on both sides. So hold on one second. Okay. It was a value add on both sides. So so I wasn't into her because she was beautiful. I was into her because she was a hustler like me. So when we got to the point years later when we actually tried to date, she stopped hustling. She just wanted to sit in the house and do nothing and spend money. She still wanted to go out. She still wanted to be with me when I hit these, like do these events or whatever. But now she was ordering things and trying to be the boss babe, trying to, using me as the guy who's going to pay for this. Like, a lightweight in a way, she's trying to run my pockets. Ladies, if you're dating a guy and you guys are together, whatever, do not order anything unless you go through him, unless you plan on paying for it. All right, I'm gonna say that again. Ladies, if you're out with a guy and you're out with a guy who has his own means, he has his own money, he's doing his own thing, and you're with him and you're under his frame, do not order anything without his permission unless you plan on paying for it yourself. Right? Because this woman decided, I'm not gonna work, I'm not gonna hustle, you're gonna take care of me. You're gonna pay for all my bills, you're gonna take care of all of my current situation, my current financial situation, and I'm just gonna sit back, I'm gonna cook, I'm gonna clean, and I'm gonna smash. She didn't last long, right? Because I was looking at her from a different angle. Like, nah, you need to add the value and have that hustle mentality that you had all the time I've known you. All of a sudden that goes away and you want to sit around and still live a lifestyle and just have someone pay for it. Now I see how you look at me. You're looking at me as a wallet. So ladies, if you're dealing with a guy who has it, you better be checking in with him, especially if you spending money. You like if you coming in as you know a deficit, like you're coming in as a liability, you better treat him like a king. You better check in with him. You better ask for things. You better not take him for granted. And if you do, bro, if he's a real one, he's gonna run through you. So a lot of women got to understand that you're out here trying to be independent, being a boss, baby. Now you're talking to a dude, and then people talk about what are you bringing to the table? Well, she's bringing debt. She's bringing debt to the table. She's bringing student loans. She's bringing a car loan. She's bringing insurance, right? She's bringing credit card debt that she's already has, right? She's not working. Plus, you got to feed her. You got to clothe her. You got to buy her essentials, right? She's bringing debt. And on top of all that, when you go out, she's acting like your money is her money. Fellas, if you come across this woman, get rid of her immediately. Immediately. And the reason you're getting rid of her, not because she's a liability, you're getting rid of her because she is running your pocket. She's not talking to you. She's not showing you the basic respect of, hey, can we get this bottle? Hey, can I buy this dress? Hey, can we go to this party? Hey, can you please pay for my car note? Or hey, can you pay for my insurance? Right? Get rid of her because she's using you, bro. Right up front. Remember that. Right? Brother Pitney, he's like, I agree with her. If women collectively decide they'll only sleep with educated men, college enrollment would quadruple overnight. Now, that's a fact. That's a fact. Like, DL, did she order the lobster? She was trying to order the prime rib and the lobster, and she was trying to order um, caviar, even though she never had it. She was ordering wine that she never could afford. Yeah, she was doing all that. Like if we were at a real nice restaurant, and that's another thing too. A lot of modern women don't like this. But ladies, if you come to the table, if you come into a man's life and you're bringing all that debt, you don't get to order what you want when they go to a nice restaurant. You must check with him. He's going to order for you. I know it sounds crazy, ladies, but if he's taking you somewhere and your meal is gonna cost up to $1,000 in some of these restaurants, you can order a couple things and that your bill could be $1,000 in some of these restaurants, right? You can't spend that kind of money without checking with him first. Hey babe, I really wanted to try this caviar here, or hey babe, I really wanted to try this, prime ribeye or prime steak or whatever it is, or I really wanted to try the surf and turf here, or whatever it happens to be. I really want to try this sushi dish. And that's what it normally is the sushi. The lobster isn't that bad, bro. It's the sushi. It's the sushi. This is sashimi, like all that. Like that gets up there, bro. Ladies, all you got to do is check with him. Hey, babe, can I order this? And that's between you and him. That's why you should be sitting next to him. You should be whispering in his ear, and then he's going to order it. Ladies, this is what you need to do if you're trying to get a top tier guy. Now, if you're dealing with a bottom tier guy, we're not even having this conversation, right? Because he can't get you into these places. Right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you order at Cheesecake Factory. It doesn't matter what you order, at the local taco joint. It doesn't matter. And we both know it. Like that guy ain't, he ain't got money like that. The average dude's gonna take you to a restaurant where, dinner might cost $200. And that's a lot of money to him. But when you're talking about dinner could cost $1,000, that's a horse of a different color. Let's get back to the video.
That doesn't mean that women in their essence don't have equally powerful roles to play in the contribution of building something that lasts. And not having a thing that is your own will drive you down a path that builds resentment over time. And this will blow up in divorce down the road, or infidelity, truly. Now hear me clearly when I say this part. Men want to lead, but in very specific places of the relationship, and they don't want to lead somebody who's completely incompetent. The areas he wants to lead are the perceived big decisions, because men want to feel powerful and they want to feel like they are kind of saving the damsel in distress. This is a feature of their being, not a bug. And as I'm sure you've heard before, with great power comes great responsibility, and some of these men will use that power for more narcissistic or Machiavellian purposes. This is where, as a woman, you need to have discernment over where he's going so that he doesn't drive you off the edge of a fucking cliff. It's also important to note that when women try to exercise a means of control over men, they will completely revolt. This is also why not understanding how to read men and challenge them appropriately can lead to a lot of adverse dynamics within the relationship container. And this can set you up for gaslighting, emotional manipulation, isolation, and ultimately emptiness. Again, I say this as somebody who has a hell of a history, aiming to see potential in fighting against reality. Now, moving.
And she keeps telling herself too, like, again, why do women tend to get into this field? Because they're trying to figure out why they keep making these bad decisions. Why am I broken? So let me take this course in college. That's how a lot of women get in here. Having said that, she's on to something. She's on to something. And like, ladies, you got to try to keep your emotions in check a little bit. If you're dealing with a dude who's a bad dude and you know it, come on now. He's definitely gonna drive you off the cliff. He might throw you under the bus. If that happens, that's on you. That's the way it is. So, ladies, you guys gotta be, you gotta choose better, right? And then also keep in mind, ladies, like y'all control who gets sexual access. So you letting these bad boys hit right away, immediately. And then I mean, there goes all your leverage. But again, with these top tier guys, it's not much leverage, is it? Because he's only going to give you a few days or a few dates, few opportunities to give it up. If you're not trying to smack, if you're not intimate with him within the 3-day rule. Some dudes may have a 4 or 5-day rule, maybe a week. If you're not intimate with him within that time frame, he's going to move on from you anyway, and you're gonna have to wait to circle back. So, ladies, you got to understand, you got to modify your game when you're dealing with the top tier dudes. Bottom tier dudes, y'all already making them wait. Y'all already treat them as subpar. So we don't even have to cover that. Brother D Mac is in the building. What's good, fam? Like, my wife would beat me up if we spend $100 on a meal. That's what's up, man. So it sounds like you got a good wife, man. You have some women out there, and you know what I'm talking about. You come across those women, I'm sure you've seen them. You got women out there that spend $100 on hors d'oeuvres, bro. Oh, I'm sorry, it's $1,000. $1,000 on a meal. I thought it was $100. My bad. I didn't see the extra zero. Um, yeah, bro, that's a lot of money. $1,000 on the meal. Now, of course, there are exceptions or whatever. Like, hey, we're gonna go to this political event. It's $500 a plate. That's different. That's a donation. You guys can plan for that, whatever. But just $1,000 on a basic meal. You got a good woman. You got a woman who's not gonna let you do that. And again, D Mac, let me know. Like, when you guys go to a really nice restaurant, like a really nice restaurant, um, does your wife kind of talk to you? Do you and your wife talk about how y'all gonna handle that, or like does she let you order, or how does that work, bro? I'm just curious. Like, when you and your wife go out, like, and let's say you're going out with some friends, like, you're going out, with some top tier people. You agree to go to whatever restaurant you name it, you name the restaurant. Do you guys just kind of do whatever? You just kind of ordering, or does your wife, like, do you order for your wife? Like, does your wife kind of whisper into your ear and let you know what she wants, or how do you guys handle that? I'm just curious, bro. I'm just curious. Let me know if you can. Here we go.
To the next point, which may hit a trigger. I have to be direct, because once you accept this, you'll stop fighting against the history and why it didn't work out or what was wrong with you in the meantime of moving through a relationship that wasn't meant for you. While you think you're asking for respect from a man, the truth is the problem is in your selection of the men that you date. You
Facts.
believe that you can get him to change, and the truth is men don't change until they want to change. So when you get yourself into a position of only seeing the potential and fighting for this change, you'll start to project the things that you don't like about yourself onto him, and you think that by berating him it's going to impose some type of change, but it's not. So if you want a man to stay and you think he has the character to build the life that you envision for yourself in this person, then the following things should come very easy. If they do not, he is not the right person for you. Now, this is what
I agree with what you were saying. Like, trying to impose change, women do that all the time. Ladies, understand, if you're dealing with a certain type of dude and you're trying to change him, being negative and all that, you will be successful. The change will come. The change will be, he's going to get another girl. Change will come, right? Change going to come, like the song say. Like, you nagging dude, you doing all that shit, eventually he's going to get rid of you. Like, it's just top tier guys aren't going to tolerate that shit. Remember, they want peace. They want peace. They ain't on that shit. They will, change will come. Um, I like what she's saying. I'm behind her 80% on just about everything she's talking about right here. I'm behind her 80%. A couple things I'm like, I don't know about. So I'm not gonna be at 100% here, of course, but she's making some good, points. She's making some good points. Men do change. Men change for various reasons, but men do change. Like, we mature. If you're dealing with a guy who's slow to change, then ladies, you just got to understand that. Like, all right, this dude ain't really trying to change. And if I don't like what I'm dealing with right now, let me get up out of here. No hard feelings, no harm, no foul. Like that dude's probably done smashed you, so it doesn't matter to him. He done already hit, and if he hasn't smashed you, it doesn't matter to him because he didn't hit. So if he's not going to change, he doesn't care. He's moving on. So, ladies, if you're like, all right, I don't want to invest in this guy. I don't believe this guy is going to change. This guy is mean, or this guy's condescending, or this guy is not honest. He's not truthful. He's not, what I mean, he's not the kind of guy I want. Right? Maybe he's not accountable, whatever the case may be. And you see that that's not changing. Like he's just cool with that. Don't sit back and be like, well, eventually he'll change. You don't know him like I know him. Man, ladies, you need to move on. And if you don't move on, you know what you got. Don't be mad at him because he didn't change and start nagging and all the rest of it. Because like I said, when you do nag that guy, change will come. And the change is going to be he's going to get another woman or basically remove you from his rotation. So she's getting into her point number 2, which is what turns men off. Ooh, let's hear this. This should be pretty good.
What turns men off? Number 1, no nagging. Just take a moment to reverse these roles for a second. Can you imagine walking in the door to your home every single day with a person holding a gun to your head? Eventually, you just want them to pull the trigger and put you out of your own fucking misery. Instead of assuming the worst because he's late or you feel uncomfortable or there was some unleft topics of conversation that weren't fully discussed, table your assumptions and lead with curiosity. Whatever insecurities or frustrations that you experience are entirely valid, but being completely reactive as a consequence to those feelings is not helping you move closer together or find a point of clarity. And the end goal is to come closer together and find some semblance of stability versus continuing to go tit for tat because you're making assumptions about what they're doing or not doing. When it comes to communication, men value clarity and directness. This leads to them usually being a lot more upfront about their desires. They aren't intuitive like women are. So they aren't the best at picking up on subtle hints and clues that you drip behind. And this drives the narrative and the misunderstanding that if he wanted to, he would. When most of the time, he literally just doesn't know. Which leads me to point number 2. You're a bitch, I'm a bitch, we can all be bitches.
I mean, bro, again, she's on point. You know what I mean? No nagging. Yeah, ladies, don't nag your guy. And the top tier guys they're not gonna stand for it. They're not gonna take it for long. You just nagging that dude, he's just gonna stop seeing you. And she's about to get into the no bitching rule. Like don't be bitchy all the time. Like a dude will tolerate it because we understand the female body is built differently than the male's body, and your body, ladies their bodies are monthly preparing to have babies, and then it has to do the reset. We get that. That's fine. Right. But you don't want to be that way all the time. You don't want to be 24/7. I mean, I knew a girl who was mean all the time. She was like reversed. Like her period was opposite, bro. She was nice 1 week out of the month. Rest of the time she was mean. So it's just like, stay away from them. And back to the thing with the nagging, or if you believe your husband or your boyfriend or whatever, your guy is out there doing something, he might be. If you're dealing with a top tier dude, he might be out there smashing a little something on the side. Possibly talk to him. If he's an honorable man, ask him straight up. You guys should have that conversation before y'all get into the relationship. Hey, what are we doing here? Is this open on your end? What's going on? Because as a woman, you'll be like, well, look, I don't want to mess around. I just want to be with you. Let's see if he's going to be honest. Let's see if he tells you the truth. If he's a real one, he's like, nah, baby, I'm out here doing my thing. You're part of my rotation, but you're the number 1 slot. You're in the number 1 slot. I'm coming home to you, blah, 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 blah. Give her the opportunity to say no. If she says no, then cool. All right, it's all good, babe. I ain't mad at you. Bye. But if she says yes, you gotta let her know, like, it's not gonna be any slip ups. No women are gonna approach you. You're not gonna get any random phone calls. I'm not bringing home any diseases, and I ain't bringing home any babies. So I respect you way too much to put you through anything like that. And if she agrees to it, cool. Now she shouldn't be nagging you about that. She shouldn't be worried about, where you are. And here's the thing, guys who run rotations, if they're late coming home and they're good about running their rotations, it's not because they were with some chick. It's probably because they were out trying to make some money, or they had a meeting and they're talking about some opportunity out here. It's not the women. They take care of that earlier in the day, right? Because at nighttime they come home to you, so they know they're gonna smash you. But during the daytime, if they want to do a little something extra, they're gonna do that over lunch, man. They might do that on their way to work before breakfast. So, ladies, just y'all got it all twisted, man. Y'all just don't understand how dudes move at the top tier. Lower tier dudes, they get it when they can, how they can. So, yeah, that guy, if he's a lower tier dude and he's coming home late, yeah, he's probably smashing the Latina single mom who lives down in 3C. right? He might be doing that. They play it close. They run that dirty game, and they get caught a lot. But a lot of those dudes, they lie. They tell you what you want to hear. It gets ugly, but they don't care. So again, you chosen. If it didn't work out, it's on you. Period. Let's continue.
Now let's move forward. The reason that I'm saying this is that we have to build the skill of awareness to know when that temperature gauge is getting a little too hot. And your awareness over when you get an attitude is going to help you not be defensive when he calls you out on that type of behavior. Because the truth is, men take the brunt of being called gaslighting assholes. And sure, sometimes they are, but oftentimes women run the same play, but the difference is in the compassion that is culturally acceptable to women versus men. And
Facts.
men certainly don't get the same level of grace that women do.
Facts.
It's really important to understand that nobody makes you behave in a certain way. Kind of like nobody can make you eat things or drink things unless you're a child. And if you are, then we need to have a conversation with your parents. I'm going to need you to close out of this video and circle back when you're 20. Now, the next point is going to hit on a truth about women in general, but it's not an attack. And nothing that I'm saying in this video is an attack on women whatsoever. We are our own unique powerhouses, but there are major differences between men and women. One of them being the personality dimension of neuroticism. Right, wrong, or indifferent, women are higher on the spectrum when it comes to being neurotic than men are. The problem with it is, while it's a means of being unpredictable, it's also a means of being completely unhinged. Especially if you're somebody who has an anxious attachment style, you have the logic that if you feel something, that means it is true. So if you feel like something is off, you assume something is off.
God, there's a lot of women out there like that. A lot. A lot. I can't tell you how many times relationships I've had with women were ended because they felt that I was doing something when in fact I wasn't. And then, of course, when you spin the block, you catch up with them down the road a couple years or whatever, get to smash some more. Then they'll be like, well, yeah, back then I just thought you were messing around. And then I realized that I was wrong. It was just a feeling I had. And I just knew I was right. And oh, okay, cool. And they're like, well, maybe we can get back together again. I'm like, nope, but we can keep doing this. And I'm just smacking them on their butt. We can keep doing this. But nah, we ain't having no relationship because that's always going to be there. Ladies, if you are that woman, you need to tell that dude up front, hey, this is what I'm struggling with right now. I am that chick. You know what I mean? I need to tell you now because I really dig you. I know you're a good man. I am that chick, right? Not only like with the you know, the anger and the mood swings, you got to tell the dude. It's like, look, I had these mood swings. So when I come home or when you come into the house and I'm having one of those moods, I'm gonna give you a sign or I'm gonna give you a word. I'm gonna let you know. So the guy knows, like, oh, she tripping. Let me leave and come back. Let me kiss her on her forehead, tell her I dig you, baby, and leave. And then she can text or whatever when it's all clear. Like, okay, it's all clear. Come on back home. Y'all need to establish that, ladies, because a dude can deal with it if he knows up front. Just like he should be telling you about his rotation and how you fit into it, you should be telling him about your neurosis, right? About the fact that, what I mean, I go through these crazy moods. I'm jealous or whatever. I have these mood swings. You should tell him up front so he can deal with it. Like, okay, I like you. I want to work through this. How are we going to deal with this? Here's a code word, right? If I come home and you having one of those mood swings, as soon as I walk in the door, I need you to scream pip squack. Pip squack. Oh shit, she tripping. I'll be back. You know what I mean? Whatever the code word may be. Come up with something. Come up with some sort of way that she's going through that. Your decision might be, all right, cool. I'm just gonna like, what's up, baby? You just need me to hold you. She might say, yeah. Can you just hold me? Like you just sit on the sofa, let her curl up next to you while you guys are watching television or whatever. So just so she can get through that mood. But you see what I mean, ladies, y'all gotta let the guy know up front. If you don't tell him, if you're sitting around thinking, well, he should figure it out, blah, 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 you just deal with it. This is me. If you on that, he's gone. He's gone. Why would we want to deal with that? Again, peace. You're disrupting the peace. Right? You want the code word when he comes in the house so he knows there's no peace here. It's like dropping red smoke. This is a hot LZ. He can just turn around and leave. Well, let me go down to the bar, have a drink, holler at my people, whatever. Let me go do something, and then I'll come back. Just give you some time to work through it. Ladies, if y'all don't talk, and women, y'all always talking about communication. Make sure you communicate with him. So let's listen to what Sister Kait has to say.
When that's not actually based in reality. And then accusations start jumping out of your mouth at this person, making assumptions about things that they're doing that maybe they aren't doing at all. The name Sarah shows up on his phone and you have a connection, not knowing that Sarah is his sister. And then you make yourself look crazy when you could have just asked a good question. Stop doing that. And I want to be super clear that like a little bit of crazy keeps them engaged, but fully unhinged is going to be a repellent. And that's not it. Not for you or for him. Now, here's a really important thing to understand about men. I said earlier that they want to feel powerful, which means that your level of criticism against him or what he tries to do or accomplish or support you with is not going to be helpful. Oftentimes, this is going to come from your desire to control things, especially if you're a hyper independent woman who is that way because your lived experience taught you that you had to be. But your insecurities around his job, his success, his friends will be daggers that you throw when you feel invalidated or just not acknowledged. Most men do not want to be told what to do. They want to be celebrated for what they do. And
She has a point there. Most dudes don't want to be told what to do. This guy has done well enough to be able to build up himself financially, emotionally, physically, right? He did all this without you. And then here you come, right? You met him at the finish line. This dude is paid. He's a 1%er, right? He's out there. He's built businesses. He's taken his lumps. He's done his thing. He's made his dent in the universe. And then here you come to tell him how to do shit. Have you lost your mind? Have you bumped your head, young lady? This man does not need you. He wants you. So, ladies, y'all got to understand that. I've seen this so many times. Women will come into the life of a guy who's on his way up. He's doing his thing. She wasn't there when he had nothing. It's like the basketball analogy. She wasn't there when he was in the gym taking 1,000 free throws after practice. She wasn't there. You know what I mean? When he was running the stairs in the Coliseum. She wasn't there when he was watching film, right? She wasn't there when he was in the cold tank and all that kind of stuff, right? The cold tub and all that. She wasn't there through the injuries. But now he's LeBron James and she wants to come in there and tell him what to do. Now he's Michael Jordan. She want to tell him what to do? Nah. nah, baby. Go away. It's happened to me. I've dealt with and this particular woman I'm thinking about right now is just the absolute worst person I ever met in my life. She's the absolute stereotypical worst woman ever. It's just terrible, right? But again, it was my fault. My mind wasn't right, and I was out in the streets trying to rebound and do some stuff, and that's what I get. That's what I get for messing with her. It was on me, 100% me. I was messing with the absolute worst one, and that's on me. But one of the things that she would try to do, she would try to tell me what to do. And it wasn't just me. She would tell everybody what to do. Like this woman wasn't that sharp. This woman wasn't that accomplished. Like my friends used to call her the Duchess of Dumbasses. Like she was just like the queen dummy. But she had all of these leeches and low tier people around her, and she kept them around her, losers, and she felt good. She was telling everybody what to do. And she came across a real guy, like my real one. And she would say, you should do this. And I would just look at her like, no. And then she would press it and get nastier and nastier. And finally I had to, return fire and then tell her how stupid the idea was. And I don't want to speak like that, but I'm like, look, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. What you just said is the dumbest thing I ever heard in my fucking life. And this is why. And then I start bringing up charts and I start bringing up numbers and I start giving her experience. Like, this is what this person did. And this is why they're over here. This is what that person did. And this is why they're not successful. Right. This is what this one dude did. And that's why he's your friend. You know what I mean? Asking you for money so he can buy food for the rest of the week. Like, I don't know who you think you are, but you're dealing with a top tier. I was like, I got on one. She took me to that point. I'm like, I don't know who you think you are, but you're dealing with a guy who knows what he's doing. And, that shit never went away. She held on to that. That never went away. It just added. And she kept trying to tell me what to do. And I kept having to put her in her place until finally I'm like, you know what? Bye. Bye, Felicia. And we ain't on this shit. And there was definitely no circling back with this one. Right? Ladies, if you get with a top tier dude, you get with a guy who knows what he's doing, you don't get to tell him what to do. If anything, you should watch what he's doing and just learn how to fill the holes and add value. Like, you want to be the woman that has his back and you can just say, hey, babe, I know what you're doing. I noticed this thing here. Did you see this? Is this normal? And then he can sit back and look at it and tell you what's what. And he'll be like, I really appreciate that, love. Thank you. Appreciate that. I missed that. Cool. Now he doesn't have to worry about you because he knows you're right there. Y'all on some Bonnie and Clyde shit. But if you're the woman that comes in there and you're trying to tell him what to do, you're trying to tell him how to move, you're trying to, especially with his own funds, like this is money he made, stuff that he did. You trying to tell him stuff? Nah, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work at all. He is going to get rid of you, sis. And dudes, if you come across that woman, I don't care how fine she is, I don't care how freaky she is, you come across that woman, that is a serious lack of respect. And it's probably not just you. She probably doesn't respect anybody. You got the wrong one. Get rid of her and move on ASAP. That's what you got to do, bro, because that woman will be your downfall. That woman will cost you. And they have a really good knack for showing up when you're at your weakest point, and they'll come and do the maximum damage. Stay away from women like that. Stay away from people like that, but definitely women. Do not entangle yourself with that type of woman.
Why would he go to the store, buy you flowers when the last time you threw a fit because 2 of the petals were fucking dead? And he was 10 minutes late because he stopped to grab a card and a bottle of wine for you. That behavior is insufferable. Now, another game that men don't like to play is the game of emotional manipulation. They are generally turned off by these types of games that women can play. Instead of dancing around the problem and leaving subtle hints, men are entirely freaking coachable. Just tell them what the problem is. I promise you, if they really care about you, they want to know how to fix the problem. They want to know what you want, and they want to be able to give that to you. However, women are significantly more attuned to mannerisms and little hints of behavior, whereas men are not. They literally are Neanderthals upstairs. It's super simple in their mind. If you're off or like throwing subtle hints or sighing or taking deep breaths and kind of stomping around the house, they're gonna be like, I don't know what's wrong with her, but I'm just gonna leave it alone. When truly inside, you're probably like, can he acknowledge that I'm here and I'm frustrated? Come give me a hug and like tell me everything's gonna be okay. But because he's not attuned to the essence of your being or the way that you present with those frustrations, it's not going to help him to help you if you can't communicate around that. Last but not least, in this domain, men really, really appreciate physical touch. And that's not always the love language of a female. I can say this transparently for myself. And what happens is because we try to love people the way that we want to be loved, it leads to a disconnect between the partners and their ability to actually cultivate deeper intimacy. So having awareness over what your love language is and being able to communicate that to them allows them to love you how you need to be loved, while also understanding that their love language is probably, for most men, physical touch. And that doesn't mean sexually also. I think it's really important to drive that, because when I say physical touch, oftentimes women perceive that to be sexual intimacy. And for sure, men and their testosterone and their biological and evolutionary drivers are going to lead them more into a physical entanglement with you, or at least that being a desire. But that's not always what they mean by physical touch. Oftentimes, after a hard day, they're sitting there frustrated. If you just come up behind them and wrap your arms around them, they are going to fucking love that. And the more,
I'm not one to prescribe to the whole love languages and all that kind of stuff, but I will say physical touch. I'm one of those touchy feely type dudes. I've always been that way. I always will be that way. Now that I'm older, I am I am better attuned to women who don't like that. There are women out there who just, you touch them, they'll just be like, stop, don't touch me. That's not gonna work with me. So a woman like that is like, okay, cool. She's not gonna be able to get to the highest level of intimacy with someone like me. All right, you don't want to be touched, fine. Call me when you want to be touched. I'll come over here and touch that butt and leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll come over here, smash, and leave. And then that same woman will complain, you never take me anywhere. How come, you don't bring me flowers or candy and da da da. Like, well, because you don't like being touched. Right. And you could have that conversation, but here's the thing: if she's low in your rotation, or that's just your booty call or whatever, man, you ain't trying to have that conversation. You just done with it. Like, all right, I'm done. So, it's good for a lot of women to, you guys are the ones who like to communicate. It's good for women to come right out and just say it, like, oh, I'm not really touchy feely like that. And the one thing I have noticed, when women are not touchy feely with a dude, it's something about that dude. I've seen women who say they're not touchy feely until they get with the guy that they really want to be with. And then they're always holding hands, bumping up against him, kisses on the forehead, kisses on the cheek, hugs, right? Because that's the guy she wants. So I kind of call bullshit on this, right? Where she's saying like, oh, there's a woman out there who doesn't like to be touched. Nah, she doesn't want to be touched by you. She's okay with the situation. Maybe she likes to smash. Maybe you make her laugh, whatever the case may be. She likes being in your space. But if she doesn't want to touch you, if she's always on the far end of the sofa, if she's always trying to, walk by herself, she doesn't want to hold your hand. To me, I'm like, all right, well, maybe that's just somebody you should be smashing. Right. I mean, there are a lot of women out there who'll say, well, I'm that woman. I don't like to be touched. I'm like, huh. I'll challenge her. Like, I bet you there's a dude out there you like touching. There's a dude out there that you want to touch you. I know, I just know it. But I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
More that you can give to them in the way that they need to be loved, the more that they will pour into you the way that you need to be loved, again, if you can openly communicate that. Now, this is where things get interesting, and I want you to pay attention. Men and women do not date the same.
We sure don't.
Women tend to date with one strategy, and it tends to be long-term investment, but men are not the same here. So here's the reality. And again, you might not like it, but I'd rather you have the information. Men work from 2 different lenses and put women into 3 different categories. They see you as a potential partner, a hookup, or somebody that they wouldn't touch with a 9-foot pole. And once you're in a bucket, you don't really move up the ranks. And most men know this pretty quickly. In the short term, they're maximizing pleasure, novelty, excitement, ego, power, a means to an end. There's no serious emotional entanglement here. In the long term,
and I don't know about that. Once you get into the bucket, you stuck in that bucket. I'm not really into big girls. So if you're a big girl, I'm going to throw you into that. I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole category right off rip. But let's say you lose a whole bunch of pounds, like you lose a lot of weight. Now you're looking really good. You're sexy. Yeah, I'm gonna come holler at you. Right. Yeah, you out of that bucket now. You moving into this bucket of you smashable, right? So when she says that about men, I don't know. I think that, depending on what that bucket is, like if you're just a unbearably bitchy woman and they put you in there, I'm not gonna touch you with a 10-foot pole, and then 5 years later you spin the block and come back, you worked on your issues, you've gotten better, you're bubbly, you're nice, you're fit, you're friendly, you're peaceful. Yeah, do the smash you. So no, I don't think that you wind up in a I won't touch you bucket forever. Women will do that, but I don't think that men do that all the time. I mean, shit, most of again, the low tier dudes, man, they ain't got a bucket of I'm not gonna touch you with a 10-foot pole. They smashing anything and everything. They're dealing with some of the worst women on the planet, and they're happy to do so. But the top tier dudes, yeah, they do have that bucket. I'm not gonna mess with her, but she can get herself out of that bucket. So that's when she's, yeah, Sister Kate, I don't know about that part.
they're emotionally invested in you. And for men, when they fall in love, it's really, really cute because they love differently. When women fall in love, we're like enamored and excited and just like, yes, this is the best feeling ever. Men are fucking terrified. When men fall in love, the one thing that they will say is it's like, fuck. I am responsible for her. Like, she is my obligation to take care of. Again, men want to lead and they want to provide and protect you. Now, it's important for me to note this is where women get fucked because they perceive men to want the same things that they do, and they have.
The reason men are scared when it comes to being a love man because men fall in love idealistically and women do fall in love opportunistically. Not all of them, but and not all the time. But normally when women fall in love, it's about what they get out of that relationship. Whereas the guy knows he's given, he's already in, she has his heart, he knows he's fucked. Right. So that's that. That's my take on that. Men fall in love for real. Men ain't trying to fall in love every other week. This is why, guys, I gotta really, really mind your emotions. Be careful who you allow your emotions out on. Because if you fall for the wrong woman, bro, she could absolutely destroy you. If you pick the wrong woman, she could destroy you. You pick the correct woman, you pick the right woman, she can 1000x you. Like she'll get you out there. You guys are take over the universe. But if you choose the wrong woman, she'll destroy you. And it could go bad. You can get to a point where you just, all right, you take your lumps or whatever, you realize you messed up, or you might delete yourself or you might delete others. So you might wind up in the morgue or you might wind up in prison. Either way, that's on you, gentlemen. Be careful who you allow your emotions out on. Be careful who you fall for.
Have a belief that if indeed they get intimate with a man, it means the same thing to men as it does to women. And again, this isn't universally true, though it is directionally correct. Most women bond on an emotional level with men when they get physically intimate with them. Men do not have that all the time. And so there are men who have charisma and charm that will leverage that in order to sleep with you. And there is a point in a man's life where they all go through this phase of being a little bit more narcissistic, a little bit more manipulative, and totally driven by the ego. The problems come down the road when they don't grow out of this phase, because they align their worth, dominance, and power to that of being able to manipulate women, which, if you know Andrew Tate or you know of the red pill space, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So
I don't agree. I don't agree. Right? Those guys that just fell into a game, it works for them, and it works for their short-term, maybe long-term dating strategy. They wanted to smash women. They were invisible. They did the work. Women see them now, and they get out there, and it's easy to them. They've done the work, and now they can smash a bunch of women. I think it just boils down to that. Their game is to a point where they're getting not just any old woman, they getting the women that they want, and they're smashing, and they can provide these experiences, and they're just continuing to run that game. This is where I don't agree with her there. That's the game. That's the essence of the game. A lot of women will say what Kate is saying right here because their game, these men, they have superior game, and women want these men, and these women, they have no power over them. They fall prey to these dudes over and over and over again. And they're like, he's manipulating me. He's doing this. He's doing that. Nah, he's running his game and it works for him and he's smashing. That's what he's doing. Right? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Right? Ladies, if you can't get that guy, fine. Stop chasing him. Go chase somebody else. Go get somebody that where you have an advantage running your game. The problem is they want these dudes. They want the top tier dudes. They want the bad boys, and they just can't help themselves.
So it's really important to understand that men balance attraction and compatibility when it comes to long-term mating. I also think it's really important to note that men commit when men are ready to commit.
Facts.
I have a belief, and I'm not entirely certain how concrete this may apply. Again, I think it's directionally correct, though not maybe universally true. Men will commit to a woman based on timing and proximity. Even if you're a wonderful, fantastic, phenomenal, amazing, incredible woman, he's not going to marry you. He's not going to commit to you because he's not in a place where he is ready to do that himself based on where he's at in his point in his life and his development, and that is fine. But you as a female need to be able to pick up on those context clues and ask the direct question so that you know what you're investing your time in, because I see so many women who will stick around in relationships for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and he has no intentions of getting down on a knee and proposing to her, and then she builds resentment because he's not ready to be the man that she envisioned him becoming. You will mentally exhaust yourself, and not only that, you will crush your self-esteem. You deserve better, and so you have to be able to come in knowing your values, knowing your vision, knowing your intentions, and knowing what you want, so that you can be clear about those expectations from this man and cut ties if you need to earlier on than wasting days, weeks, months, years into something that never comes to fruition. Now,
Y'all hear me say it all the time. What's your mission? Know yourself and what's your mission? What she said right there is 100% correct. A guy is not going to commit to you if he doesn't want to. And you'll know right away how you fit into his world, especially the top tier dudes. Ladies, if you're with a guy and you're like, we've been talking about getting engaged for the past 4 years, man, he is not trying to marry you. That's what it is. You just wasted all that time. And a lot of women are like, well, I done put in this much time. I might as well give it another 4 years. Maybe he'll change. I'll wear him down, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times those women be into that relationship 4 years, whatever, break up with the guy. 2 years later, she'll find out that guy's, engaged to be married to Becky down the street or something like that. And then they go crazy. Why? Because he wanted to marry Becky. He didn't want to marry you. That's what it boils down to. That's all it was. That's all it was. You were a good placeholder. He was cool with you. Right? 9 times out of 10, he had a rotation anyway. He just didn't tell you. So you were just the number one. That's all. But he did not want to marry you. If a guy's with you and he wants to commit to you, he's going to commit to you quick. Within 2 to 3 years, he's going to commit to you. Like he should be vetting you. Like I tell dudes, vet him for 2 years, and he's going to take that chance. If he's going to take that chance, he's going to do it. I mean, I tell guys, be careful. Be careful getting married in America. But if you're going to do it, if men are going to do it, they're going to do it within 2 to 3 years, because that's what they want to do. You are the woman he wants. If he's not doing that, if you're 4 years in and climbing, just keep going. We're going to year 4.5, 5. I mean, he ain't trying to fuck with you. He's not trying to do it. That relationship is going to end at some point, especially if he wants to have a family. Like, you're not it. You're not the wife and the mother that he wants for his kids. So understand that, ladies. That's the game, fellas. It's a cold game out there. A lot of people like, man, you just out there wasting her time. Hey, bro, she wasting her time. You doing what you do. So just keep doing it.
Let's break down the hookup box and clues he just wants to smash. Many women, like I said earlier, think that they can convince a man to fall in love with them if they just entertain him long enough. But that is not true. If the first time that you meet him, or in the context of the conversations that you have, it's really focused on your physical attributes, that is a sign that he is lusting over you. He's not asking about what you think, how you feel, where your values are, how your day was. Unless it's sexual, he'll probably ask that question. But if it's only focused on the sexual elements of you or the physical attributes of your being, that is a red flag that he's not looking for anything serious. He's also going to be much more reserved when it comes to opening up about how he feels, what he thinks, or being intimate or vulnerable with you whatsoever. Another sign that he's really not focused on something long term is he doesn't really make long term plans. Now, this is really important to discern. When it comes to narcissists, they tend to future fake a lot, and they understand it's because a woman wants predictability, stability, and security in a long-term mating strategy. And so they will present things that you've shared with them, and they will probably ask you about what you want and then throw it into you, so they mirror into you your desires to keep you hooked. Again, different personality dimensions will engage with you a bit differently, but I wanted to point out some of the narcissistic trends, especially now in current modern culture with dating. It seems that there are more and more prevalent, but most men who don't have serious intentions are not going to be talking about anything serious in the future with you from the jump. Another sign that he's not serious about anything with you long term is that he's not consistent in his communication with you. If there are days where he doesn't text you back, he's really, really lackadaisical with your communication styles, except for like past 10 p.m. on a Friday night. He's not serious about you. Communication will be more consistent if he's truly seeking intimacy with you versus lusting over you and wanting physical interactions with you. Now, one thing to also note is if you try to gauge his level of intimacy with you or his intentions and you share something emotional, or you ask him questions about his emotional experience, if he puts in a fourth wall and completely becomes avoidant, he doesn't feel comfortable going there with you, likely because he's trying to prevent you from experiencing the hurt or removing you as somebody that he can get with from that dimension if he tells you that he's really not that connected to you at all. So he'll likely change the conversation when you try to ask him about the emotional depth of his emotions for you or the dynamic of your relationship together. And being aware of this behavior can help you acknowledge and discern the motives behind his behavior. Last but not least, clues that he wants to smash is he's very adamant very early about being physically intimate with you. And the dates that you have may end very quickly the moment that you guys do get intimate. And there's often little to no effort to maintain that once they've gotten it. Remember that women are not cars. They are not things to be purchased. They are not something that you just test drive and then leave because you didn't want to buy. However, women tend to set themselves up for these experiences, which makes them resentful over time. And men, especially coercive men, will put a lot of pressure on you to move the relationship to that point faster, especially if you're not ready. Respect yourself and hold your ground, because the right man will be patient for you to get to that place where you feel safety and you feel comfort and you're ready to move the relationship to that level with that person. Which brings me to the last point.
Damn, she hit that one. I let that one go all the way uninterrupted. She hit that one. She knocked that one out the park. She hit that one right on the head. She knocked that one right out the park. Yeah. And fellas, ain't nothing wrong with that. If you out here, you meet a woman and you looking at her like she just got a body, you ain't ever like, man, look at that. I want that. I want to smash. And you holler at her, your game is at a point where you can come at her like that and she's okay with it. She goes home with you, y'all smashing. Ain't nothing wrong with that, gentlemen. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And run it just like she said. Don't be rushing to hit her back. She sends a message on Monday. It's cool to wait till Thursday to hit her back. If you come home on a slow Tuesday, ain't nothing wrong with hitting her up at 11 p.m. like, hey, what you doing? Nothing wrong with that. Won't you come through type thing? Nothing wrong with that. Ladies, if you are that woman and you got this dude, right? He's a top tier guy, maybe, like in physicality or looks, or maybe he has the whole package, whatever. If you rocking with that dude, right? And y'all just smashing, don't get mad. The game is a game. It's like, You might get a guy who is a real gentleman about it and he'll take you out to, on decent dates or whatever, but he knows he's smashing. Right. These are the guys, like I said, the 3-day rule dudes. That was me when I was coming up. 3 days, man. 3 days or 3 days. If we ain't smashing, I'm not hitting you up no more. That's not, I'm not looking for anything long term. And ladies, you're not gonna get a guy like that and get him to fall for you like in the movies. I'm going to change him. No, you're not. He's gonna keep smashing. He doesn't care how your day went. He's not worried about what's going on in your life. He's not gonna sit there and let you, you know, tell him all about your emotional issues and all that. He's not gonna help lead you. Like your best chance of elevating your status with this guy is adding value, helping him make money, making his life easier. That's your best chance. And even then, all that does is put you in the number one spot. He's still going to be smashing you, but he'll answer your texts or he'll answer your calls when it has to do with business. He's not going to want to talk about anything intimate. He's not going to want to talk about anything long term. Right? Some of these guys who be dirty macking, he might sell you the dream and let you believe that, oh, you just hang in there long enough and y'all will ride off into the sunset together. You got to be able to recognize the difference, ladies. And if you don't, that's on you. That's on you. Everything she said about that, hooking up and all that, 100%. We got Life of Cash in the building. What's good, fam? Appreciate you, bro. He's watching why it works out. Mr. High Value ain't gonna wait. He's not gonna wait. Even the dudes who don't have the money, they're just really good with the game. They're not gonna wait. They are running numbers. They are literally talking to hundreds of women a week. They know that they're gonna get 3 to 5% are gonna smash. So they just keep running women so they can get to that 5% and then run their rotation. That's what they're doing. They're not in it for any kind of emotional stuff. I was a guy who would joke a lot, I'll have you laugh, we have a good time, but we was smashing. If you're a woman that I'm dealing with and I'm just coming to see you to smash, I don't care if I come over at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. When I come over, we doing something. And if I come over there one time and you don't do nothing, that's it. I ain't answering no more of your calls. I'm not answering no more of your texts. Next time you see me, we'll just be out and about. You might catch me at some random spot and then you'll feel a certain way. Well, how come you don't call anymore? Come on, baby. Like when I come over, you know what time it is. And if you're not doing that, I'm not coming over. But I thought maybe we could be more. Like I'm not looking for more. I told you that up front. So either we smashing, and then if we smashing, we can continue with the dates. Like if that's cool, but that's the cost to play. You want to play with me, you're gonna have to let me hit. And if you're not gonna let me hit, then you can't play with me. That's the game. Ladies, if you find yourself in the game like that, you just got to make a decision. Fellas, a lot of the time the women will accept your terms and they'll do it. Some of them will back out like, I don't want to do it. I ain't comfortable. Okay, fine, whatever, bye. And once they see that you don't hit them up, and a few months later they wound up texting you, and then you hit them like, what's going on? Because you know what time it is. Like, shit, baby, what's up? You ready? Right? That's what the text will come back like that. That might not be the first response, but it'll certainly be within the first 5 responses. Oh, what's up, girl? You ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Cool. You know what I mean? Cool. Why don't you come over tonight? Right. And all he's doing is testing you to see what it is. And you'll come over there, do what it do, and then bam. He'll take you, okay, now let's go out. I'll take you to this event. I'll take you to the spoken word event. I'll take you to this comedy event. I'll take you to whatever. It's back to what they was doing. Some dudes won't even do that. Some dudes are just 100% hit and come over, hit, leave. Come over, hit, leave. That's it. But again, a lot of these women they will accept that. This is why your game has to be on point. If your game is right, they will accept it. Right. And trust me, they got other dudes out there that they're messing with. They have dudes who are out there chasing them. There are dudes out there trying to pedestalize them. There are dudes out there in the friend zone. So, like I said, man, it's a cold game. Let's continue.
Point, which is, how do you know if he's fucking serious? I think one of the biggest signs that a man actually cares about you is he will make time, especially again, going back to the preface of if he's successful, if he's ambitious, if he's achievement driven, and he's creating space and time in his day to day to talk to you. That is a really, really big sign that he actually sees something with you and he's put you in that bucket of somebody that he could build something with long term. The other thing is he will be consistent. Men who want a woman, and I mean really want her, are going to show up consistently. They aren't going to play games. They aren't going to be hot and cold. They aren't going to stonewall you. If he wants you, he will tell you. Men who are manipulative will lie to your fucking face and do that with charisma. There will also
She's right on those 2 points. When a guy's into you, he'll do all those things. He'll make time for you. You know, he'll do all that. He'll move with, you know, with purpose. He'll let you know up front this is what he wants to do, right? And even some of those dudes, how you really want to know, ladies, if he's into you, he's doing all that without even pressuring, trying to smash you. Guys, that's a mistake. I'm here to tell you right now. You know, you hear from Uncle Saint. Every woman you deal with, whether you are looking at her as a wife and you want to marry her, or you just looking some chick to smash, in the beginning, you got to smash them right away, bro. Do not be that guy that's going to treat this particular woman different, because trust me, she done failed for somebody else's game. So you're going to have to at least smash. If you don't, she's really going to run you through it. Like, she's really going to run you through it. So fellas, once you get older, especially into your 30s, bro, you got to run the same game on every woman you come across. And then if that woman adds value, this is someone you know you want to take it to the next step with, that's fine. Then you can show, you know, that time, you can put in that commitment. And like old girl said, like Sister K said, he's not going to be playing any games, but make sure you hit first. Make sure you hit first. And a lot of guys are like, man, ain't even about the sex, bro. If I really like her like that, it's not about the sex. I agree with you, and I'm with you. But trust me, go ahead and smash. Go ahead and smash. Because when your emotions come out, that's going to be dancing in the back of your head. Man, she's such a good one. You know, she's not like the rest of these women. She's not even, you know what I mean? She's making it difficult for us to be intimate. She wants more. Like, bro, she's smashing somebody, player. It just ain't you. Right? She's smashing someone at the very same time you're out here romancing her. Right? You out here whining and dining her and all that. She is, when you drop her off, she got some dude pulling up. Right? Or she's going over to some dude's house, bouncing up and down on him, and then going home. The whole time she's texting you, setting up the next date or whatever. So all I'm telling you is make sure you smash. Just make sure you smash. And if it doesn't work the way you're hoping it to work down the road, you're gonna be like, oh well, you know, but at least I smashed. But if you don't smash and you go through this process and it doesn't work out, down the road, you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be like these women who get bitter when they get ran through by some dude and didn't get anything out of it. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna, you know, she ran through you, she ran your pockets, and you got nothing out of it. I know it sounds primal, I know it sounds whatever, but make sure you hit up front. Make sure you hit.
be, and this is really important, a genuine interest in you, your emotions, your values, your feelings, your experiences, how they can support you, what they can improve upon, and they genuinely want to know that. So this is how you understand men and what they really want, how they go about dating, and how they see it differently. And if you're interested in learning about the female experience and going through some of the beauty standards and pressures around body dysmorphia and how that can manifest, and also how you can break through that, then click this video and I'll see you there. And if not, fuck off. Bye.
She said, if not, fuck off. Right. I ain't mad at her. That's a pretty good video. That's a pretty good video. Let's give her a Don DeMarco. Don DeMarco. She was on point. Like I said, 80-85% with her. I'm with her right there. And fellas, this video is linked in the description below. Watch the video. Go back and watch this thing all the way through. Listen to what she's saying. Bro, she's talking to women. She's talking to women. Understand that. Listen to those parts when she was like, I got a lot of experience. What's she saying? She done had her experiences, bro. She done fell prey to some of these dudes. As cute as she is, she done fell prey to some of these dudes. Right? She just letting you know. So you want to be that guy. You want to have those traits. You want to, if needed, you could present as that guy so you can achieve your short-term mating strategy, which in most cases is just want to smash. A lot of guys don't mind, you know, investing time and you know, womanizing and doing their thing so long as they got an opportunity to smash. Most dudes are okay with that. If guys go in, they invest all this time, money, and energy, effort, and never got to smash the chick, I mean, bro, they're gonna be mad about that. And here's the thing: like, dude, you never got to smash, and then you find out she smashed little Bobby over there. Like, damn, she smashed little Bobby. Yeah, he met her at so and so's barbecue, took her home that night. What? But if you hit, you wouldn't care. Like, yeah, it's cool. You know what I mean? Good for little Bobby. So all I'm saying is, you want to be the dude that's out there getting it. You want those traits. Now, you don't have to always use them. It's you kind of be like a tool. Like, all right, I got this toolkit over here and I can use it. You know what I mean? This is how I get down. This is how I do my business. Right? I'm able to break the ice. I'm socially in tune, all that good stuff. Right? It works on all the women, bro. From a 1 all the way up to a 10. You want that game that's universal. Doesn't matter who you're talking to. You run it the same way. And you'll be successful. You won't get them all, but you'll get some. You'll get within that 3 to 5% range, which is really, really good. Really, really good. You smashing 3 to 5 women out of, out of 100. Now you doing good, bro. You doing good. Right? Like that's pretty good. Right? So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm sitting here just thinking about the stuff, and it's like, bro, dating in today's sexual marketplace is really a numbers game. You definitely have to know some things. You have to be social. Like, it is what it is. You can't be blinded by some woman's beauty. You can't be, you can't let her use that shock and awe on you. If you do, you're setting yourself up for failure. And it is what it is. Ladies, you guys going out here chasing after the top tier dudes. You're going out here chasing after these dudes who have game. It is what it is. It's your game versus his game. Let the best game win. Right? Hopefully you can get what you want. I don't know what women are looking for in short term. Yes, I do. They want experiences. They want attention. They're looking for validation. There's nothing wrong with those things. That's what they're trying to get. And they don't want to give to get that. Like, if a woman can get all that, they can get attention, validation, they can get experiences, and they don't have to give anything, they don't have to pay anything, they don't have to smash anybody, then they win. But on the other side, if the guy can get sexual access and not have to give a lot of attention, a lot of validation, not pay for a lot of experiences, then he wins. No, he wins. That's where it is today. That's where it is today. And if you're looking for a woman, you still need this understanding of this type of game, so you know who you're dealing with. If you're okay with having that girl who's been out here smashing everybody, she's a neighborhood bicycle, everybody took a ride. If you cool with that, fine. But at least that's what the case is. A lot of guys, they get with women and they think that she is, a regal, noble woman, when in fact, she's the neighborhood hoe. So, and that's on them. Sucks to be them. And guys out here talking to a girl only to find out, like, after they committed and do all this stuff, come to find out that she's an exotic dancer, or used to be an exotic dancer, or OF, or adult film star, or, like I said, just a neighborhood chicken head. But he's already locked in. They got a baby on the way and everything. It's like, oh, he's going to have problems. That's on him. That's what he gets. So, fellas, get y'all game up. Shout out to Sister Kate. I really enjoyed that video. I hope you guys did too. Tomorrow, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. I think I'm going to bring up a Melanie King video. I saw a video. She's been doing a series where she's dealing with women who were just wilding out with the police. I watched an episode. I watched one of her shorts. We'll probably pull that up just to show you the type of woman you really don't want to deal with. And if you ever come across these type women, bro, you are an absolute fool for dealing with them. I think that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be we're gonna react to one of Melanie King's videos. Shout out to Sister Melanie King. I ain't seen her doing any lives in a while, but shout out to her.
It'll be like,
oh, the Don DeMarco button didn't work. Shout out to her.
Don DeMarco.
She hasn't been doing her lives, but she's been cranking out content and she's been putting out some good stuff. So that's what we'll talk about tomorrow. We'll talk about that chick, the off the rails crazy, woman who's out there just wrecking lives. Not only her life, but the lives of the people that are close to her family, and then her significant others. We'll talk about that. Brother Pitney is saying she sounds like she make a good guest on this show. I'm reaching out to her, fam. I'm reaching out to her. Like I said, she has around 8,000 or so subscribers. I don't think she's been around a long time, but I'm definitely going to reach out to her. I'm going to try to see if I can catch up with her on her Instagram. I'm sure she has one. If not, a lot of content creators gives you an email. They'll give you an email. You can reach out to them. I'm gonna try to get a hold of her, man. I would love to have her on the show. And talk about stuff. I'm sure she'll like, that comment you said about me being crazy because I'm in the psych world. I'm like, hey, is there any truth to that? So hopefully we can get her over here. I've been reaching out to a lot of the female content creators. They're not hitting me back. I'm not surprised. I mean, just imagine how many dudes are reaching out to them. There's a lot of weirdos out there. These bottom 80 guys don't really know what they're doing. So when women see this stuff, like Bree, the woman, whatever she calls herself, I would love to have a conversation with Bree. Trying to get a hold of her, not having too much luck. But I'm definitely going to reach out to Sister Kate. Maybe we can get her over here. And, we're going to make it do what it do. So appreciate y'all rocking out with me, man. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys thought, got something out of this. So I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here, bro. I'm DL Saint. This is That Really Want to Know podcast. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.